will start our today's lecture. In the last lecture, we have discussed what is HCI, what are the principles of HCI, and how we can design a user interface with the help of HCI principles. Now, in this lecture, we will justify the use of HCI, how this HCI principle and techniques are against the industry standards. Then we will see how we can generate a user interface for any specific product using our planning documents. Means whatever we plan using HCI principle, how we can design a desired or a specific product. Now, some of the basic principles that we had discussed. What are some principles that are used to design a user interface? Let's revise some of them. The first one was the consistency. I told you about in the last lecture what is consistency means. You should be consistent with the colors, with the typography or the layout. I have shown you different kinds of color schemes, different layouts. I think we have discussed the F patterns, the Z patterns. Different layouts are used in UI designing. And the typography means the font styles that you use. If you are using Roboto for your UI interface, so for overall design, you should use Roboto. Don't switch to another typography like you use one font style for one page and you select the second one for the second page. So you should be consistent with your colors. Means your primary colors, your secondary colors you choose, your font styles you choose, and the layout you choose. If you want to design a layout in the form of F pattern, means what is F pattern? The content will be on left side and the images that you want to insert should be on the right side. But the Z pattern says if there is a content on the left, then the image will be on the right. And then afterwards, the image will be on the left and the content or the whatever the text you want to add will be on right. So that is the different forms of layout. So you have to follow one and you should be consistent overall your UI design. Then visibility of system status. You have to inform your user what's going on, means with the help of a feedback. Means like you can add a progress bar there. You have to add a notification or status message. For example, whenever you fill online forms for any application, for university application different, they will show you the status of your application, whether it is incomplete, complete or submitted. Okay. So in this way, you should be use such kind of techniques in your UI design that will keep the user informed about the current status of their application or what they are doing using your website or application, whatever it is. Then user controls and freedom. Means you have to provide the undo and redo action. For example, mistakenly a user have filled some invalid information and he want to clear the form and want to fill the form again. So you should provide a undo and redo action there. Just like here, if we in this MS PowerPoint, there's also an option of undo and redo. If we delete something here, we find an option after right clicking here. I haven't deleted anything here, but if you delete, there will be an option for undo and redo. So similarly, for providing the user a freedom, you should allow the access to the user that they can control their form, they can exit anytime, they can cancel the operations anytime. Then we have more principles like error prevention and handling. Means you should design your system to prevent the errors whenever possible. For example, if the user, like for example, if he is filling the form, and you might notice whenever you fill a form, there is a asterisk on the top of every field that says that you have to mandatory fill this field. And if you doesn't fill that, the form is not submitted and the color of static turns red. That indicates that you must have to fill that field. That is called error prevention and handling. Means user forget to fill any field, but you add some conditions and some UI in such a way you design that whenever the user made any mistake, it will inform the user at that time that you haven't filled this. If you don't fill that field, you can't submit your form. You may see such kind of examples on different websites or when you create different accounts on different applications or sites. Then recognition rather than recall. This says that uh, means the purpose of designing the user-friendly user interface is that the user should not recall or memorize the things. You should make the user UI interface in such a way that it is easily accessible and visible. Like you don't know how to use any application. Let's suppose you are not educated, but you want to use different social media application. We see that there are many people who are not educated much, but they can easily use social media application. Why? The reason behind this is the UI interface. The interfaces are designed in such a way that the user don't need to memorize. Like if they want to send a message to someone, what they have to do. Like if we take an example of WhatsApp, everyone can use that, whether he is educated or not. He knows how to send a message. He knows how to send a voice note. The reason behind these things is that the user interfaces are designed in such a way that everyone can easily recall the things rather than memorizing. So this is what they recall rather than memorizing. Means you know that even kids can easily use WhatsApp just because of the friendly user interface. And all of these things are happened just because of this HCI principle. Everyone follows that principle to design a friendly user interface. Then we have flexibility and efficiency of use. Flexible means your UI interface should be set in every kind of environment. Means you should provide the shortcuts for the expert user. Means we know that when we use Windows operating system, Windows provide multiple shortcut for the expert user. Means let's suppose if we want to save anything, we just click here. But if you are an expert user, you can see that Control plus S option is also, they are showing us that if you press Control and S at the same time, you can also save any document. Then for copying something, for example, if I want to copy this text, then right click, then copy. But instead, if we press Control plus C, then we can also copy the text. So that is the flexibility. Means you also provide a detailed pathway for the beginners, but for the experts, you also add some shortcuts. That is the flexibility and efficiency of use. Means you ensure that your UI interface face is friendly for the expert as well as for the beginners too. So this is what that means. Then we have now, what are the best practice and principles in user interface? We have also learned all of these things in detail. So I'm just going to revise a bit for you. Now, the user-centered design. It means that your design should be according to the user, according to the user preference, according to the user needs and goals. For example, you are going to launch social media application. Let's suppose you want to design a UI interface for a social media application. So what you will do, you will research about the current needs of the user. What is lacking in other social media applications and what you should add in that. What features are not there, but the user need them. So you can add such kind of things. That is the user-centered design. Means according to the user need, you design your interface. Then simplify the interface. Means you should avoid grouping or clustering of things. Like your interface should be clean and it should everything should be visible to the user. It should not distract the user. Means you should avoid adding ads in your UI interface. Let's suppose if we see this interface on the top of the navigation, we can easily navigate, and like if we click on home, we will see the icons or the options that are related to this navigation tab. If we click here, the things will be appear here. Now let's suppose in this home tab, if we these things are also added in this tab, but what if we add also these all things here? Everything will be messed. The user will not understand where to go and what to do. So for that purpose, you should simplify your interface. You should not add unnecessary features there. Means like the user want to copy a text, you also add paste this text here, some extra features that are not relevant to the user goal. You should avoid them. Then the visual hierarchy means the attention of the user. For example, you want to grab the attention of the user. Let's suppose, for example, now if we take an example of this application Zoom, you can see that two main colors are used here, green and red. If we want to end a meeting, the red color for the end button in the background disappear to grab the user attention on the main thing. Now, have you ever wondered why some colors are highlighted, some icons are highlighted, but rest of them are not? So if you see, the color of the screen share is green, but other icons are all of white, because we want the user to get their attention on that. For example, it is the main feature that this application is offering, that user can share the screen, and if you want to end it, that is also in the red color. So that's why visual hierarchy says you should highlight the important actions that you want the user to perform. For example, when you when you visit e-commerce applications or sites, you see that buy now button is always highlighted. Why? Because they want the user to get or purchase that item. So that is the meaning of visual hierarchy. To grab the user attention, we will change the color of size or color of some important items. Then the techniques you can use for designing the user interface. The first one is the analysis or user research, as I mentioned before. If before designing a user interface, you have to do a research on the current trends or the current needs of the user. You will do user interviews, you will do surveys, questionnaires. So these are the different methods of doing research that you will do. Then you will make cart sortings, means you will do some exercise to understand how user categorize and organize the information. How the user will cover the information in this way. So you will see all of these things. Now we have some tools called wireframes, Figma for designing the user interface. Mainly these tools are mostly used by the designers. Figma is most commonly used tool because here you can design your prototype. What is a prototype? Prototype is the rough sketch of your design. Means before making the actual design, you will make different prototypes or rough sketch of your designs to ensure that, for example, if you want the approval from your subordinates or your seniors or from your manager, so you will design or sketch these things using wireframes or some other designing tools. And after that approval, you actually start working on that design. So that's why these tools are mainly used. Now, the second thing that we have to discuss is to generate a user interface. Means how we can generate a specific user interface for a product using a planning document. Means if you have a desired plan, how you can easily design a user interface. Now, the first thing is to generate. Means in this step, you have to identify the requirements of the user interface design. Firstly, you will define the user goal. For example, if we are designing application, let's suppose an e-commerce application. So firstly, you will define the user goal. What will be the goal of the user? User can easily log in. User can easily view the products, purchase the products, can check out, uh, can easily add the items to the cart, uh, easily do their online payments. So this will be some user goals if we are designing any e-commerce website. So you have to give every goal a priority. For example, the priority here can be the user can buy the product easily. Whenever the user click on buy now button, it will easily add that item to the cart and can easily check out from that site and then do the payments. So this will be the first priority, and then the friendly user interface. Many are there. So after defining that goal, you will give a priority to each and every option. Then you will study the business objective. Now, with the user goal, you have defined all the things. But what is the objective of that business? For example, the owner of that e-commerce application is selling some kind of their brand products. So what will be their goal? That there will be more, there should be more traffic on that site. There should be more user who can attract to their site and can purchase their product. They should make a large amount of profit from that side. That that must be some of that business goals. So you have to study that. What are the goals of the business? That will be the second step, and you will write everything first. Then you have to research the competitors' application. We know that there is not a single e-commerce application. There are many websites that are using that are selling their products, that are converting their business to e-commerce or online. They're doing online businesses. There is not one. So you have to do a research. Which website is selling the similar products? What is the difference between their website and what should be the difference between my UI interface or application? So you will list all of their weaknesses and their strengths so that you can add the things that are lacking in their site into your site. So it will help you to attract more users. Now this is also done. Now you have to gather the functional requirements. What are we have two kinds of requirements. First one is the functional and the second one is the non-functional requirement. Functional requirement means the functionalities that we have to add in our UI interface or application. Like whenever the user click on the buy now button, they can easily add the item to the cart. They can easily check out. They can log in. They can create an account. They can post any feedback. That are the functional requirements. So for that purpose, you will communicate with the stakeholders or the product managers. Means who are dealing with that product or that site to gather the functional requirements. Means you will ask them what functionalities you want to add in your site, and you will list all of that on a page, or you will record that in some file. Now this second step. Here you have to structure your information architecture. Means how the user will navigate. Means Firstly, we know that there is a home page, and after the home page, at the in the second section, the products are listed. In the third section, there is a about us option. In the fourth section, there is a call to action button. Then the testimonials means the reviews from the other user. So in this way, you have to structure all the information flow, how you will place all this content in some way. So you have to take care about them. Then the visual design elements means the color schemes, the typographies, the other design elements you will see. So let me show you with an example so you will get a better idea how the things work when you design any user interface. So let's take this design as an example. So I told you that we should consistent with the color. Now let's suppose this is their main color that they are using. So you might notice that every button. Now let's talk first about the visual hierarchy. For example, we want the user to engage themselves with this restaurant food application. So you can see that on this top right corner, there is try for free. The color is different from the others because we want the user attention here. And then if we want the user also select a pricing plan, the color is also different here. This is called visual hierarchy. Along with that, you can also see that for highlighted text, or if for the text that we want the user to pay attention, the color is mostly different, and this is the main color. How this UI interface is consistent with the color. So this is the consistency. See, everything is, and I also talk about the layouts. So this is a Z pattern layout. How the content is on the left and there the image is on the right. Similarly, here you can see the content is on the left and image is on the right. So this is called a Z pattern layer. Again, the main thing, the main color is highlighted with the primary color. Now, here we want the user to select a pricing, to select a diet plan for their meal. For vegetarian, we have highlighted a text so that a user can easily see that which one they should choose according to their need. Then this is called the testimonials, the reviews of the user, means what the other user says about their content. So in this way, a UI interface is designed. Then again, following the visual hierarchy, the color of the button is different from the others. Means how we want the user to get. This is the call to action button. This area is called means we want the user to sign up for this website. Then at the end, we have the footers that contains some icons related to that website. So in this way, the UI is the interface. According to the now, the first of all, we identify the target audience. Our target audience are the people who cannot cook just because of their shortage of time. So how we can engage them? So the color scheme, the typography means this, the font style you used here. Everything is consistent here. And second thing, I told you that you should simplify your interface. Means things should be not cluttered. You can see that everything is simplified. There is no icons that are grouped together, which will the user is not able to understand about that. So this is how, with the help of HCI principles, UI interfaces are designed. By following the visual hierarchies, the layout, if you are using a Z pattern, then you should consistent with the Z pattern. Okay, so this is an example of layout.